Hey guys, CRL Rosberg back at it again for another video, and this time we're finally back after the little Christmas and New Year break. We're back for some league racing. This time not racing in AOR, we're racing in ILR for the first time in a little while. I didn't make any videos on it, but ILR is well, it was a PS4 league, but they moved over to Xbox and absolutely did pieces. I competed in the first half of the first season until I left because I was frustrated because I was getting absolutely no luck. But it turned out that was probably the worst decision I've ever made in league racing because I could have ended up winning the championship, but it is what it is. But we're back for season 2 for the first race of 2019. So this is qualifying for the Hungarian Grand Prix. I didn't do a massive amount of practice. I did do a good amount, considering I only signed up to ILR the day, just on that day, which was Friday. So I was kind of just praying I knew what I was doing. As you can see, we're losing the rear end out of turn 2 on the soft compound tyres. Currently down in P16, I think. So currently things aren't going to plan, but we managed to get negotiate turn 4. Okay, through the chicane, taking a decent amount of curb, opening up this corner, and we track extend. How do you track extend that corner? I don't know, but I managed to do it. So that was curtains on our qualifying lap. It seems that when I seem to go back to league racing at Hungary, it never seems to go to plan. It happened in CRL where I ended up getting taken out on the first lap. And it's happened again, where this time I've failed to complete a qualifying lap. To any eagle-eyed viewers, you would have noticed that I didn't actually have any DRS. It managed to break somehow on my previous run, and it never fixed itself, despite me in the pits and it being like 5 minutes since it had broke. But it is what it is. So I did lose a good amount of time. As we can see, nearly piling into the back of the Amazement as he decides to warm up his tyres. We're going to let the team radio take over for a little bit here.
I don't think it's going to stay dry for much longer. The rain could come at any moment. Watch out. Dries seem like the best tyre for now.
So as you would have heard, rain is expected in this race, but we're starting on the soft compound tyres. Looking at the strategy, the rain was meant to be coming between the first, from lap 1 to lap 10. So, balancing it out, there was no need to go onto the mediums. I knew that the softs were going to make it, and as you can see, starting in P17 alongside Langman 17, who's also didn't have a great qualifying session. But us two from the back row, it's a last to first, shall we? We'll try and call it that. The win is probably very unlikely, but we are ready for the 5 red lights for the Hungarian Grand Prix. And it's lights out and away we go. We get a brilliant start. We're already past, I think that's Hayden, I'm not quite sure, going up the inside of the Amazement. We're on the right against the wall on the inside of Jork as well. There's Farah, a couple of F2 drivers just ahead of us. We're taking the inside at turn 1, trying not to make contact with anyone. There's a Force India beside us. There's a Sal that's just ahead, trying to find a gap to sneak our way through, but there isn't quite any. Nearly running off the circuit at turn 2, but we're managing to stay on the circuit, getting a bit of a squeeze there by Farah, but we just hold it through. That's VSR Morso who's run off the circuit, going around his outside into turn 4. Can we make this move to stick or a little bit of understeer? Sort of moved off the circuit, but we're going to be up the inside for turn 5. We're going to have the inside for the start of the chicane. Are we going to hold it? Is he going to try and drive around outside? He tries to, but we've got the superior line through turn 6 and 7. So that's an eventful start to the race. That is Melanie just in front of us. That's Tyrrell Martin nearly driving into the wall, but he's pitting. I think he had some front wing damage, I'm not quite sure. He was held on the grid for quite a while, but as you can see, we're in the slipstream of Melanie. I think this is Melanie anyway, it should be. Up his inside, making a little bit of contact with him as we kind of shit the bed thinking that we were going to run into Reynolds. But just about make it through. Apologies to Melanie for the contact, but it is what it is. Next is EVR Reynolds, the other Sauber driver. As you can see, skipping on a couple of laps. It is starting to rain. It started to rain on lap 2 or 3, and the rain is starting to pick up a little bit now. As you can see, there's a bit of a train here. featuring Gorge Crab, who actually qualified on pole, as he makes a bit of contact with Reynolds, and we're stuck behind TR Dutchman, who also started on the Ultra Softs along with Gorge. They qualified first and second, but as you can see, starting on the Ultras wasn't exactly a great choice. Going on the inside of Dutchman, but he's going on the inside of Reynolds. He's trying to retake the place. We're going to go up his inside. Are we going to look on the inside of Reynolds? We're just about looking on the inside, getting a little bit of oversteer into hot lap. And are we going to go into overtake? Probably not quite. We're in the slip through and look to the inside. Reynolds, he's overshot the braking and he's gone way wide. And now we're up his inside. He's going to be fighting Dutchman again. But I'm not quite sure if we made contact on his screen. It is quite visual that I didn't on mine. If we did, then I apologise, I guess, but there was no lag. There didn't seem like there should have been desync. It seemed like I was a car length to the inside. But I guess it is what it is. Skipping on to lap 9, I believe this is. Veloce Surprise, who's one of the fastest guys on the game. He's actually disconnected from the session. He's rejoined. I'm not quite sure when he rejoined, but he disconnected on the previous lap. Through turn 1, as you can see, the rain is starting to calm down. The engineer did just say that he's not quite sure that these are the right tyres for the conditions. As you can see, there's Surprise. He's run off the circuit and he's rejoined, and he is struggling with these conditions. He's only just rejoined. I think his motivation is going to be a little bit out the window. He was leading the Grand Prix, and then he's lagged out, so his motivation might be waving a little bit, so he might be vulnerable to us. As you can see, he's running a bit wide, oversteering all over the place, so he's very vulnerable. And as you can see, in comparison to us, we're fine. He's had to cut the corner, so I mean, question marks over the legality of the lines that he's taking at the moment. And as you can see, we're just gaining on him. Surprise, he's got no grip at all. He's got no trust in this car, unless it's something to do with his tyre temps. I'm not sure. I didn't speak to him. I haven't spoken to him, so I'm not exactly sure. As you can see, we're just gaining on him. But the thing is, this was the lap to pit for the Inters, and we're teammates. So if he chooses to pit, he's going to get... Well, I'm going to have to go out for another lap. As you can see, there are drivers in the pits, and Surprise, he's taken that opportunity, which is a shame for us. If he had just stayed disconnected, we would have jumped him. And but it is what it is. As you can see, nearly oversteering into the barriers. Just showing that that was the lap to pit for the Inters. VSR Simon, for whatever reason, kept going. I guess he didn't want to get held in the pits because he's in a battle with OMG It's Joe, Snazzy Evening, and Veloce Limitless. And it's because he's Snazzy Evening, currently net race leader, I believe. With Simon, he used pit this lap. As you can see, we're pitting, trying not to understeer into the barriers. We don't want to do that. Into the pits, I wasn't quite sure where to brake, so I kind of just took it a little bit cautiously. Ended up braking at just a decent point. Here's me checking the penalties for Langman that I was in the party with. Reynolds, no penalties, and I didn't have time to look at Hayden because I need to do my pit stop. Pretty good stop by the Williams boys, but of course we are going to get jumped by Veloce Surprise. As you can see, there he goes. Massive amounts of time he's gained on us, and that's put all sorts of curtains and blankets all over any chance that we had of getting a top 5 result. But we are currently ahead of Morso, who did pit the lap before, but we've managed to maintain our position in P6. At least I think it's P6. I can't quite... Yeah, it is P6. I can't see on the preview window that I've got. But now, this is kind of where the race just turns a bit dull, to be honest. Not a lot happens here. But as you can see, VSR Simon, he's actually had a collision with Snazzy Evening. He's had to pit. He's got wing damage. So that moves us up one more position. And overall, this part of the race, I was just controlling my own rhythm, I guess. I wasn't trying to push too hard to catch the guys in front, but at the same time, I wasn't strained. I wasn't stressed by the guys behind. I was very lonely race I was having. There's OMG It's Joe, who's pit for the soft compound tyres. It stopped raining a couple of laps ago. Joe, I don't know why he had to pit. It was something to do with his tyres. He's got a bit of a reputation for not being able to take care of his tyre temps and tyres in general. Whereas us, on the other hand, our tyres were absolutely perfect. I could maybe have gone to the end on these tyres if it stayed raining. Or if it kept raining, I should say. but Joe, clearly, he couldn't do it, and he was losing a lot of time. As you can see, this lap now, that is a surprise coming out the pits, and he's going to get jumped. He had a lot of oversteer coming out the pits, and we've jumped him. As you can see, if we look back at turn 1, you can just see he's drifting. He's got no grip at all. It's still too early for the dries, but this is the lap where we have to pit. The track was started to dry a little bit quicker, slowly and slowly started to suit the dries more, but they weren't really gaining. The guys that had just pitted weren't gaining on me. Joe had been mullered by the rest of the pack that was behind me from Langman, Morso, Jork, and Josh. If he was surprised if he wasn't careful, he was probably going to be put into that group. So he's has to be counting his lucky stars that he pit this lap and not the lap before, or else any sort of chance at the podium could have been gone. Limitless is still going, along with Snazzy Evening, I'm pretty sure. Well, yeah, I said I'm pretty sure. I think he is anyway. But we are going to be pitting on the correct lap. As you can see, Snazzy Evening, he is in the pit at the moment. JD choosing not to pit. I'm guessing Martin was telling him some information about it, but as you can see, DRS is now enabled, so I'm sure JD is kicking himself at the moment. Snazzy Evening, he's in the pit. We're going to follow him in. I say follow him in, we're about 25 seconds behind him, so probably not quite following. Surprised, he's going to get off quite lucky with this. If he had pit the lap before, like I said, he probably would have been destroyed by the guys behind. But we're going to have a pretty comfortable pit stop right here. I don't even think we've got a warning so far. But we've had to go on the ultras because I didn't actually have a spare set of soft tyres left. So this was also a bit of a worry for me. I was a little bit concerned if I was going to make it to the end. The ultras do not last at this track. Literally, if you push for one lap, that's it. Like, the tyres are gone. So having to take these tyres, 7 laps, was going to be a little bit of a push, but I assumed by how well I took care of my tyres during the intermediate stint, I thought I was going to be alright. As you can see, I'm looking at the tyre wear already, and I was already on like 2%, and I haven't even done half a lap yet. So I was bricking it. I was just like, there's no way. Like, how am I meant to get to the end of this race with tyre wear this horrific? And but as you can see, getting to the end of the race, track extending a little bit just for show. Snazzy Evening wins his first ILR Grand Prix ahead of Veloce Surprise, Veloce Limitless, and Joe in 4th. We're going to come home in 5th. P5 was way above any sort of expectation I had, but as you can see, coming across the line, again, like I said, P5 well above any sort of expectation I had. Considering we started P17, we gained about 6 or 7 places off the start, and I mean, the rest of it making, I'd like to say, decent strategy calls, getting a little bit screwed over by Josh, but I mean, it is what it is. And I mean, we didn't have the pace to compete with what were the top 5, with Simon being in there as well. We just didn't have that pace, but you know, we kept our nose clean, stayed out of trouble, and did the best that we could. As you can see, Snazzy Evening taking his first ILR Grand Prix victory ahead of Veloce Surprise. Veloce Limitless in P3, I think that's his 3rd or 4th podium in a row, ahead of OMG It's Joe, who was the early race leader. Myself in P5, Langman 17 in P6. He also kept, remember, he started in P18 as well, so myself and Langman taking 12 places from where we started. I'm also in P7 ahead of Jork, the Amazement, and LCR Hayden also scraping into the points. And that is it. That is all that needs to be said about this race. It's quite a fun one. I really enjoyed it. I think it was a good choice to re-sign up to ILR. The guys that run it, they are amazing. They do a great job. The drivers as well, they are incredibly quick. You know, guys like Surprise and Limitless, Simon, they're all incredibly quick. Martin didn't quite get a chance to show, at least on my video, how quick he is, but I mean, you know, Martin, he's always phenomenal. Also, a recent move to the wheel from him, and it is what it is. But anyway, guys, thank you for tuning into this video. hopefully a lot more 2019 league racing content to come your way, and I'm looking forward to it. If more races can be like that, then I'll be very happy. Maybe with myself on the top step, you never know. But anyway, thank you guys for watching this video. Like it if you did, subscribe if you are new for more league racing content in 2019, and I will see you guys in the next video. Cheers.